Hello everybody, Iain Robson, welcome back to an episode of the Platinum Map. Alright, today doing a little bit of sunflower harvesting, as you can probably see here already. I think I'm on track already, yeah, we're good. So we're just doing a little bit of sunflower harvesting, as you can see here. We're just using the regular corn headers, because I think we have more corn than anything else. This is just kind of like a random thing we decided to do, sort of thing. Plant sunflowers, you know, mix it up a little bit. Although I do like that sunflower header, it makes it so much quicker. As a little random side note, you see how I have the lines, you can see how I have the green line, the GPS green line above the crop? You can actually set that up by doing this, this little thing right here. So you can set it so it's off, so it's on the ground, or so it's raised up. I just didn't know where it was, so I put it so it's raised up so I could actually see it. So that's what that is. Nothing special, just part of the regular GPS basically, so they haven't really changed anything dramatic in the last little while, so that's that. As you can see, we're joined by Spud and also Country Gaming up there as well. Just doing a little bit of this sunflower harvest here before work, so to speak. So, man, I've been playing the Hunter a lot lately. It feels like, at least. Those daily challenges they added into the game, I'm enjoying them quite a bit. Just because they add, you know, they changed it up. They may encourage you to try some different things. So, like, for example, I never really picked up the pistol in the game, but I decided to pick it up the other day just because it was one of the challenges. And I had the money for it too, of course, so it wasn't a big deal. So there's a few of the rifles that I haven't even tried yet still, just because there was no point. But now with some of the challenges, the way they have them set up, it actually makes it worth it because, you know, sometimes they'll say like a lever action rifle or something like that. Sometimes they'll say something else, so it's kind of neat the way they've set it up. I like it at least. So anyways, also FarmSim released Giants released a, I don't know, you call it promotional video for the Ropa DLC. I just did a little tiny I don't know, it was like less than 30 seconds I think it was, for the Ropa mouse. I think it was. I think that's what it was for, at least. So it was for one of them, but not quite, I don't know. It was interesting, it was cool to see. The promotional videos are always nice, but one of those situations where it's kind of like, well, okay. Just didn't really show anything of value, I guess is the way I would say it. At least it didn't seem that way. If you have seen it, really? You're gonna miss that little tiny bit there? There we go. Jeez. Like, just the one row of corn I was going to miss. That's ridiculous. Anyways, yeah, in the promotional video, it kind of left a little bit to be desired. You know, unless you know exactly what that thing does already, which I think you kind of do anyways. I think it basically, from what I can tell, it is the same as... It does a very similar thing as this, the Terraphalis. So, for some people who don't do root crops very often, they're kind of like, I'll save my 10 bucks or whatever it is and spend it somewhere else. Why am I missing? Oh my goodness. It's just a little tiny bit. Just need to shift the course to the right. There. There we go. Jeez. Hopefully that'll clear up the rest of the line there. But anyways. So yeah, that was one of the things that just released this week. It's kind of interesting to see what they're trying to do with it. So I don't know. As far as I know, they're not adding anything else yet. It's just going to be just what's there. Nothing else so far. So I don't know. I thought they were going to add a couple extra pieces of equipment, but maybe they will still. Who knows? Maybe it'll be like a bonus piece of equipment in the Ropa DLC where it'd be like, hey, check this out, sort of thing. But maybe not. Who knows? From what I can tell, most people who watch my videos are kind of like, unless, like, I don't know, like, unless they're like really hardcore into root crops, they're kind of like, maybe not. So what are your guys' thoughts on the Ropa DLC so far? Are you guys gonna pick it up or not?
Oh, I'll definitely get it for $8.
Yep, I'll get it for around 10.
Okay. Now, is that because you like root crops or just because it's another Giants DLC?
I'd like to see it on the server. We could have a second sugar beet harvester with Ropa variety, because we can definitely use two, but I don't think we're going to be able to wait until mid-March. Probably pick up another sugar beet harvester
that come out on the 13th?
March.
Well, it was March 10th for some reason. But
Yeah, it doesn't come out till March as far as I know, so. And it looks interesting though. I know some people are kind of gonna naysay it just because it's the type of crop they don't use at all, basically. So.
I love doing the root crops.
Yeah, exactly. So it depends on, like, I think it's going to depend on, you know, how people feel about it. For people who like the root crops, they're going to be like, yep, for sure. People who don't like them are going to be like, okay, well, maybe not.
Really depends on what you're going to use the root crops for, apart from selling them.
Yeah, no, that's true. I guess I would probably use them for the BGA. That's what I'm intending to use them on, at least in County Line. And for pigs, of course.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it for Altenstein for pigs as well.
But I don't know. I don't. There's one.
Pull behind potato harvester looks good.
Yeah, it's about. I think it looks pretty similar to the one we have in the game right now. I think it's. I thought it was bigger actually, but it's actually, from what I can tell, it's the same size. Because it was 2 meters, and I double checked the one in game. I think it's also 2 meters.
Is that the cedar?
Harvester.
Oh, the harvester. I thought the harvester was 4 meters.
The self-propelled one maybe, but not the pull behind.
Oh, okay.
Potato
Yeah.
harvester dedicated, small one.
Yeah, I don't know. So like you can see, like, some people are kind of like yes, some people are kind of like no. I don't know. Spud and Country Gamer are both on the. They're like, yep, let's go ahead and do that sort of thing, just because they like harvesting sugar beets and potatoes and whatnot. So I don't know. It'll be up in the air, I think. So like, this is how I feel about it's gonna be. Like, North Americans probably aren't gonna be that interested in it. Like, some North Americans, not all, just because, like, depending where they live, for example, they may not have any sugar beets or potatoes at all grown in their area. So because of that, they may not be like so jazzed about getting it. Whereas people in Europe, for example, let's say you're in Germany, where they'd have as far as I understand, there's a pretty big sugar beet industry in Germany. I'm not 100% on that, mind you, because I don't live in Germany, but as far as I can tell, there seems to be a big one there. So maybe there are places like Austria and places like that as well. There's, you know, sugar beets and potatoes harvested there. No, Netherlands, for example. All those types of areas. Maybe there is. I don't know. I don't live in Europe, so I have no idea. I could look it up, I suppose, but that would require me to stop what I'm doing right now and look it up just so I can double check, but which I've been known to do once or twice. So I try not to do it all the time though, so anyhow. Yeah. But that's what's been going on with the farm sim world for the time being. A couple new mods, of course. There's always new mods coming out. If you haven't seen it yet, I did a little video with Mark Dupont on his contractor series. I'll have to share that in Discord and on Twitter and whatnot. Did that, when was it? Last weekend, I guess it was. There's going to be a little tiny bit that's missed here, isn't there? Yep, of course there is. There we go. So I did that with Mark on the weekend, which was actually quite a bit of fun. We just chit-chatted a little bit and then talked about the equipment and whatnot. And on his contractor series, he's using More Realistic mod, and he's using a couple other things as well. So like, it's kind of an interesting combination. Like, I haven't, honestly, in FS17, I haven't used the contractor mod, or not the contractor mod, the More Realistic mod at all. But I used it in the past, and it hasn't changed much. So he's using the More Realistic mod and the Gearbox mod, so he's using together. So it's pretty interesting actually, because you have to kind of choose your gears a bit more wisely. You can't just, it's not just like, you put your foot down and you go sort of thing. So at least in some of the older equipment, you have to think about that a bit more, because in the newer equipment, it's it's not terribly difficult to find the right gear. Whereas in the older equipment, you got first, second, third, fourth, whatever, and then you got your high, low range, and your all that jazz. So you have to kind of figure it out which one's which. So it comes down to it depends on what's going to work for you. So I don't know, but just like in real life. Just like in real life. You drive a new tractor now, like you drive, you know, some of the compact and subcompact tractors. It's like a hydrostatic transmission. You just, you know, put your foot down for forward, put your foot down for reverse, and that's it. And then if you drive some of the older tractors, like let's say from the 70s, then you're definitely going to be clutching and changing gears. Like, not to say that's in the, you know, I guess in the compacts in the older days, it probably would have been the same. With, you know, probably would have been the same with ease, I guess. But I'm not sure if we're doing this field here. I'm not sure if we're going to go straight for this field or not. We might be one for this one. I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah, so like the older styles, obviously going to be a bit more, not difficult, but a bit more intricate because they just didn't have hydrostatic transmissions back then. Eventually, I don't know what day they actually came around, or what year they came around, but that would be interesting to find out, actually. Alright, let's do a headland on here. So, I don't know. That's that. At work, actually, we were using a wheel loader to unload pallets and whatnot, or to move around pallets. And I guess that particular tractor is going on rent now. And now we're going to be using a skid steer, a track skid steer, which is going to be kind of fun, actually, honestly.
Iain, are you going to do the west side of the field?
Yeah, I can do that. I was going to make a headland on.
Yeah, I'll go up the east.
You guys didn't connect 1 and 2, did you?
Negative.
No, I didn't think so. It just looks like it, because the way the angle I'm looking right now looks like it's like, you know, corn as far as the eye can see, sort of thing. But yeah, like I was saying. So, anyways, they're going to use a tracked wheel loader or a tracked skid steer, which is going to be kind of interesting to use. They're pretty easy to use, actually. The newer stuff is
No, field one's got potatoes in it.
It's pretty easy to use these days. So, all right, that's that. Let's make an adjustment here. Well, that should actually be enough headlands, I would imagine, at least. There we go. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of interesting. I only drove the wheel loader once, actually, and then I found out that they were renting it out, so I got all prepared to like drive it. I actually watched like a YouTube video. I'm like, well, how do you drive this thing? Because I've never driven something like that before. It's actually really easy, honestly. But if you've never driven something like that before, you're kind of like, I don't know. I'm not a type of I like to try to be prepared for that kind of situation, just because I didn't want to make a big mistake. Because, you know, you're driving a pretty expensive piece of equipment around, and also you're moving around equipment that could be expensive as well. Like, let's say you're moving around a cab for a tractor or something like that for one of the subcompacts. Then you're talking like $6,000 on that pallet, and you don't want to mess that up. So stuff like that. There's Spud there. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to use a skid steer too, the track skid steer, because like what seems to be the case is like in the winter they kind of use a wheel loader or a skid steer, something like that, and then in the summer just one of the forklifts works well. But the forklift doesn't do very well in the winter when it's not warmed up. We discovered, or I discovered at least. Like, it'll do the job, but you'll definitely notice a performance issue until it's warmed up.
For work, I'll probably hop on to say goodbye.
Okay.
Okay, Spud.
So, but that'll be interesting to drive the skid steer. When I was at the landscape show in Toronto there a while back, I drove a skid steer, like one of the brand new ones. I think it was like a 333E or something like that, or G. No, was it a G? I think it was a G. Anyways, I drove it, you know, like a few inches, but the guy I was with, he's like, "You ever driven one of these before?" I'm like, "Nope." He's like, "Well, hop in." I was like, "Okay, I guess we're doing this." So I hopped in and moved it a few inches. He's just like, "Okay, you gotta do this, 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 and this," and yeah, that's it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So it's pretty easy. Like, you basically the newer style. Well, you can still get the pedals, I believe, for their feet, but newer styles tend to lean towards just joysticks. So you have one joystick for your bucket, and one joystick for moving forward or back and turning left or right, sort of thing, and that's it. So it's pretty easy. And then now, instead of it being like a mechanical, like lever you pull or something you push, something like that for a parking brake. They have it so it's just like a button you press. Like on the one I drove, it was like press the button for parking brake and then press the button for start and stop. It was pretty interesting actually. Looks like Liz is gonna get the headland there. So I don't know, it'll be interesting. The funny thing is though, so now that we're gonna switch over to the skid steer, it's in the shop right now, so we can't use it. So I'll eventually get to use it. Eventually being the key word here. So I did get to try. This is kind of funny. So the very first time yesterday, I got to try out a snowball on the front of a lawn tractor, which was a bit interesting actually. I'd never tried that before. Because I don't know, I never had I've used lawn tractors before, it's not ones with a snowblower on the front of it. It's like my in-laws, for example, have a couple lawn tractors that I've used many times, but they have a 6-foot snowblower on the back of a big tractor. They don't really need a snowblower on the front of a small little lawn tractor. So I used it for the very first time the other day. I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. It was like it was an LA 120, which is like an older style, an older small lawn tractor. One of the lower end ones, like on the scale, like it's kind of like a, I don't know if you know what a D series tractor, a D series John Deere lawn tractor is. It's kind of like, it falls into that category because the way they kind of go is like, it goes like right now it goes E series, which is like a D series now. They change the letter basically, and then it goes D or E I should say, and then it goes to 300 series, and it goes to 500 series and 700 series. And the price fluctuates accordingly, basically. So if you're using a D series, it's like the cheapest ones you can use. If you're using a 700 series, it's the most expensive ones, basically. And they've changed the numbers with those a few times as well. So like they used to be a 585, for example, is one that was in the shop the other day, and then they switched to a 700 series. When they come to a new revelation or something, like this is a brand new, it's like totally different, you know how they say like stuff like, reconstructed from the base sort of thing, from the ground up. So stuff like that. So they change the lettering and whatnot, saying, hey, it's this or this now. So there we go. Good. So yeah, I tried that for the first time the other day. It was interesting. I could see why you'd want power steering, especially if you have a snowblower on the front of your tractor, because turning your steering wheel with a snowblower on the front of your tractor just wreaks havoc on the tractor, because it just feels so heavy to turn it around, especially without power steering. It feels so heavy. You're like, you really gotta like reef it back and forth, which is why you end up with issues down the line with your steering, right? So, anyways, c'est la vie. But it was still fun. It was something different to try out. I used, like I said a while back, I used a gator with a blade in the front. I tried that out to see what it was like. That wasn't too bad. It's a big blade though, which is nice. It's a 72-inch front blade on those things, so you can move quite a bit of snow with it in comparison to, let's say, a blade in the front of a lawn tractor. Well, the biggest one you can get, I think, is a 54-inch yeah, you can get a 54-inch, 46 or 54-inch. But in reality, like, if you're just doing your driveway, you don't really need a huge tractor anyways. Although I'm sure some would beg to differ. So, anyhow. I don't know if we're going to finish up this field or not today here. We might finish this one too. We'll see. Because Country Gaming started the other field not too long ago, so I don't know, it's possible. Possible we'll get both of these ones done, so I don't know, but it was interesting. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of snow to move, so it was like, how much snow was there? Maybe like an inch of snow on the ground. That's over a few days, and I just was moving some snow out of the way from some of the equipment, so when you go to take somebody along close to the equipment, it's easier to actually get to the equipment. And you don't have to get you don't have to walk through a big pile of snow, which is nice, because when you do that, it's not fun, especially when so what will happen is you take someone out to show them a piece of equipment, and then your feet get wet, and then you're sitting with your feet wet in the store for however long it takes to dry. So trying to keep a little laneway is kind of a nice idea. Let's just say that. At least that's my opinion. So, anyhow. Oh, goodness. Anyways, folks, I think I close the episode out there for now. My name's Iain Robson. I hope you enjoyed this episode, this harvesting episode. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.